Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Jeremy Lowe, and today we're tackling a big one, motivation in adult learning. Let's kick things off with a question. Have you ever been so pumped to learn something new that you just couldn't wait to dive in? Or maybe you've dragged your feet through mandatory training that felt like a total slog? Yeah, we've all been there. And that's because motivation plays a huge role in how we engage with learning. Adults are motivated differently than younger learners. We've got personal goals, career aspirations, and a desire for self-improvement that drive us. Understanding these motivators can totally transform how we approach training and education. First up, intrinsic motivation. This is the motivation that comes from within. It's that inner drive to improve ourselves, satisfy our curiosity, or achieve personal fulfillment. Think about a time when you were excited to learn something just for the sheer joy of it. Maybe you picked up a new hobby, learned a language, or dove into professional development because it aligned with your passions or career goals. How did that feel? Here's a tip. If you're designing training for adults, try to connect the content with their personal or career goals. Show them how the skills they're learning can benefit their growth and align with what they care about. Next, let's talk about extrinsic motivation. This is all about external factors, things like rewards, promotions, or tangible benefits that come from completing a task. Maybe you took a certification course because it was required for a promotion or to keep your job. The motivation here isn't necessarily about personal growth. It's about meeting external expectations or reaping external rewards. Remember this when you are crafting your next training. While extrinsic rewards can be effective, they're often short-lived. Balance them with intrinsic motivators to keep learners engaged in the long run. Incorporate meaningful rewards like certifications that not only provide external recognition, but also contribute to personal goals. Moving on to relevance and practicality. Adults are super motivated when they see how learning is relevant to them and can be applied right away. Ever sat through training thinking, how is this even useful? Contrast that with times when you learned a skill that immediately made your job easier or more efficient. The difference in motivation is huge. Always explain the why behind your training. Help learners understand how new knowledge applies directly to their roles or can solve real problems they face. When adults see the practical value, they're far more likely to stay engaged. And now, self-efficacy and confidence building. Confidence is a powerful motivator. When adults believe they can succeed, they're more likely to engage and persist in learning. Have you ever been in a training where you started off unsure, but as you hit small milestones, your confidence grew? Those "I can do this" moments are golden. Here's another teaching tip. Design your training to include quick wins and positive reinforcement. Provide feedback that highlights progress and set achievable goals to build learners' confidence throughout the process. Lastly, autonomy and control. Adults value having control over their learning journey. When we feel autonomous, our motivation skyrockets. Maybe you've taken an online course that let you choose the order of modules or skip sections you were already familiar with. Having that control can make learning more efficient and enjoyable. I believe it is important to incorporate elements of choice and self-direction in your training programs. Allow learners to have a say in their learning path, and they'll take greater ownership and show higher levels of engagement. So, there you have it, the core aspects of motivation in adult learning. Why does this matter? Because understanding what drives adult learners allows us to create training that's not just effective, but also engaging and meaningful. When we tap into both intrinsic and extrinsic motivators, show relevance and practicality, build confidence, and provide autonomy, we create a learning environment where adults thrive. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of motivation. Stay tuned for our next episode, and until then, keep fueling that inner drive, stay curious, and let's keep growing together.